Hey guys, thanks for having me here. I'm really glad to be invited to speak here. And yeah, I even combed my hair and wear my best shirt, right? Yeah, I'm not usually well dressed like this, and I'm not well dressed, but okay. My topic today here is anywhere workers. So this has been becoming popular since the pandemic, and it might remind you of digital nomads. So you might have an idea what it is. And yeah, I'm here to explain what are these differences and how can they benefit Santa Helena in the future after the Fibre, right? So first, introducing myself, I'm Brazilian. And I arrived here in November with my wife. I'm married to that beautiful lady over here. Her name is Maria. Yeah. We are going to stay here for a while, for a few years. So now we are setting up. We are staying here for longer. I studied chemical engineering in the university. I studied in Brazil and also in the United States a while. And while I was in the university, I always liked technology. So not only the university, before, I was always keen on technology. So during the university, I was fond of programming, I was fond of simulations. I discovered this whole world. And then I focused my undergraduate course in technology. And then after I graduated, I started working for startup companies in Brazil, and they were focused on in optimizing industrial processes. And so I traveled all over Brazil with these startups to go to petrochemicals, sugar and ethanol industries, and also for beer factories to improve their processes and improve more using technology. So this is we call Industry 4.0 there. So I worked with this for a while, but I wanted more flexibility. I didn't want to be tied to the industry, so I didn't want to be tied to a physical place. And also I wanted to get married. So I changed my career to purely technology and IT. So I shifted, and now I'm working as a project manager with software development and software deployment. And something that I always liked is traveling. So I've been to the 5 continents already, and South America, where I'm from, traveled all over there. United States, Europe, not much, but I want to go there. I want to visit more. Also Africa, I want to visit more. And also Southeast Asia, we lived there for a while, and also Australia. And since the pandemic, so the pandemic gave me a little push to start this digital nomad or anywhere worker work style. So since the pandemic, I lived in 3 different cities in Brazil, and then we moved to Thailand. We spent a year in Thailand. We also lived in 3 different cities over there, Bangkok, Chiang Mai, and Koh Phangan. Then we moved to Cambodia, Phnom Penh, the capital there, and finally we are here in Santa Helena Island. And one thing that I want to highlight is that from these 8 cities over there, 5 of them, they are among the 100 best nomad destinations in the world. And we didn't know this before, but we were looking for a specific, we were researching which is a good place for us to go that I can still work remotely. So we have to consider a few factors before choosing a place for this anywhere worker lifestyle, right? And yeah, we found these places. And I'm going to talk a little bit more what are these factors that we consider when we choose a destination. So first, what are anywhere workers and what are digital nomads? Who are them? So basically, mainly they work on digital-based industries. They don't want to be tied to a physical place. So we got tired to commute every day to work. For example, in São Paulo, 10 million people over there. I spent 1 to 2 hours to go to work and 1 to 2 hours to come back. It's crazy traffic, so you get tired of this. And then you want more flexibility, you want more time to yourself, to your family, to your hobbies, right? And then in your digital work, you don't really need to be there because you do everything with your computer and with the tools that you have, right? Yeah, they are all seeking autonomy and flexibility over their lives and careers. And the digital nomads, you might have heard about them. They are usually younger. They range from 25 to 35 years old, but they like to go to lots of places in a short amount of time. So they don't want to stay for a longer. Their mission is to go to lots of places like in a small amount of time. They prefer to stay in shared accommodations, they prefer to stay in hostels, for example, and they really like pubs, bars, they value the nightlife, and they value parties and this kind of stuff. It's good for a while, but then as you get older, right, you want to settle down, and then after the pandemic, that's when the anywhere workers, they start becoming more popular. So they are a bit older, they have a full-time job, so the digital nomads, they are mostly freelancers, and then while the anywhere workers, they do have a full-time job. So as myself, for example, I have to work 8 hours a day, so usually from 8 to 5, I'm at home working, and they range from 25 to 44 years old. Half of them are married, so that's something for married people as well. Most of them are parents, 70% are parents, so that's a possibility as well. You don't need to have a physical home, a physical house for yourself. You can live in different places, in different countries for a while, and you don't need to keep moving a lot from country to country, from city to city. You can stay longer in the places, so you can enjoy more each country. You can enjoy more each city that you are, so you can live the culture. You can understand the life in that place, right? So usually they spend 3 to 12 months in each place. So I consider myself and Maria, we were in this category. So we were anywhere workers more than digital nomads because we stayed longer in the places that we've been. And what are anywhere workers looking for? So when they are choosing a place to go, what do they think? What do they consider? They consider now high-speed internet, so that's very important. Should be reliable and should be unlimited, right? Yeah, that's very important. They really consider the infrastructure. So, for example, accommodation, so options of accommodation. And if there are Airbnbs or rentals like here, that you have everything ready in the house, you just need to arrive and leave. So they consider places like this. If also there are co-working spaces. So what is a co-working space? These, for example, could be a co-working space if you had a few tables, some good internet connection, and also power outlets for you to connect your computer. And yeah, so it's just a place that you can work outside of your house. Because some people, they get tired of staying just in their house. They want to go to a place with a beautiful view like this one, and to enjoy time and to also refresh in their mind, but still they need to work. So these are co-working spaces. They also have rooms for meetings. If you need to go to an online meeting, you go to a room, you have your meeting over there, and then you get out and you stay in the tables with the other people as well. And you pay for this. You pay for this hourly or you pay daily, weekly, so it depends on the package. Also, internet cafes, just a place, so if you are tired of staying at home, you just want to go and have a coffee somewhere, and also while you are working, right? So they also consider cost of living, accommodation, food, and activities. So they consider these if there are options, if the accommodation is not too expensive, food is not too expensive. They consider a safe place. So we want to go to a safe place. We don't want to be mugged or robbed where we are, where we stay, right? So that's important. Options, cultural options, entertainment options, and life experiences. So For example, while we were in Cambodia, I could go cycling. We would go cycling in the rice fields or in the lotus flower fields. Every week we could go cycling. It was peaceful, beautiful, amazing experience. Also in Thailand, for example, we had our moped over there. We would ride it with no destination, just ride it and to arrive in a new place. So that's life experiences that we don't have usually in our country that we could have elsewhere. Mobility is very important as well. So is it easy to go around walking in the place and to go to a market, supermarket, or to go to places walking, or even is the public transportation good and cheap as well? Also, are there, if there is no public transportations, because it could happen, are there rental options, and are there available, so lots of rental options? It could be a motorcycle, it could be cars, but this is something to consider as well. Also, if it's cheap. So yeah, cheap is very important. Easy immigration, yes, so this is also something to consider, because some countries it's very hard for you to be there longer than a tourist. So a tourist, they would stay for a few months, but an anywhere worker, they want to stay longer. And some countries make it hard for them, but some other countries are already adapting. I'm going to show you as well. And some other thing to consider is the weather. So usually we look for a tropical weather. We don't want too much rain. We don't want too much snow. We want a place that, like here, right? It's a good place to go outdoors. After your work, you want to go outdoors. You want to walk around. You want to do an exercise outside of your house. So this is something they consider when they are choosing a city. And what are their jobs usually? So it's IT, engineering, consulting, digital marketing, designers, online entrepreneurs. So for example, if you have like this online shop and like a marketplace, for example, and also social media, the YouTubers and influencers that we are all aware of. So if you are considering someone, the younger people here, if you are considering this work style, these are some jobs that you may pick. And yeah, for us to make a successful work while we are remote, we need a few tools, right? So these are 4 categories of tools, digital tools that we use. So I think that what's most important is real-time communication. So for example, Slack is one of my favorite, or Google Chat, Workplace from Meta, and Skype, video chat. We are all aware of these tools, Zoom and Google Meet. Project management tools, for IT, for example, is very important. In every other job, we all have projects to manage, right? So these are a few tools that we can use: Jira, Asana, Trello, and Monday.com. And for collaboration tools, these places that we can go together and collaborate in documents such as like Word and PowerPoint, and we can create them together. So Google Workspace and Office, they also have these digital tools. So these are to give some idea for you guys. If you don't know them, they're very useful. And if you are considering a career like this work style, this anywhere worker work style, there are some things to consider, advantages and disadvantages as well. So for example, as I told you, flexibility, you can stay in your house, work from your house during the morning, and then you can go and prepare your own lunch. You can take a nap if you need. And then you wake up, you go to a cafe and work elsewhere. If you are tired of your home. So it's a very flexible job. And when you are in new places, they bring new life experiences as well. So for example, I told you about Thailand, I told you about Cambodia, and here in Santa Helena, for example. So every week I go diving, and or I go for one of your walks here, and it's amazing. I would never live this experience elsewhere. So that's an amazing place for this. Cultural enrichment and the new people that you meet. So when you are out of your comfort zone, you meet a lot of people, so you learn with them a lot. That's a way also to improve yourself as a human, right? So you also learn new languages, you learn about people, about their behavior, culture, and religion, thoughts, what they think. So these are great advantages. But also, the digital nomads and anywhere workers, they agree that there are disadvantages. And so, for example, you don't create roots to a place. So you don't have your fixed house. You're not close to your family. So it's harder to create your roots. Some people they like being closer to their loved ones, and they like to have their house. And also with since we spend not so many time in a place, there is a lack of deep relationships. So we feel this. We stay 3 months in a place. We make friends, but it's not like a friend that you have a 10-year friend, right? So it's harder. When you stay, the shorter you stay, the harder it is to have meaningful relationships with people. You have to be minimalist as well. So since you are traveling so much, your stuff should fit one luggage. And that's it. It's one luggage and one backpack. Otherwise, you're going to spend a lot of money with traveling, a lot of money with extra luggage, and we don't want that. So every time we are going to buy something, we have to look, we have to think about our luggage. Is it going to fit, or can I sell it before I go? So we always have to think about this. And one of the main disadvantages is that digital nomads and anywhere workers, it's hard for them to stop working. So you are in your home, you are working there, so it's up to you to decide, it's done, it's over. And so at first, when I started this life, I would go from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. working non-stop, and it was very hard. So you have to control yourself and do your work time. So when you go to a physical time, it's easier, right? So you have to catch the bus and you have to leave at that time. But when you are at home, if you don't control yourself, you will work a lot and you may get burnout as well. So it is something to consider. And one other disadvantage are the time zones. So for example, when I was in Thailand, I had a project in Brazil. The time zones are totally different. So I would have meetings at 10 p.m. or 5 a.m. in the morning. So I accepted that, right, for this work style. And yeah, now let's talk about Santa Helena. Can Santa Helena be a destination? Yeah, so I brought a few characteristics, right? So for example, now after the fiber is deployed, right, we will have high-speed internet, reliable and unlimited. Yeah. So we will have that. So that's the most important thing. It is a super safe place to be. The activities and life experiences here are amazing, so that's a check as well. And the weather is very, very good. So Santa Helena has a lot of potentials. And what can we improve here is the infrastructure. For example, options of accommodation, more accommodation options. Sometimes maybe like shared accommodation as well, so the prices can be cheaper for people to consider. Co-working spaces, cafes, this is something to think about having in the future as well. This brings attention and people really like these places. Mobility options as well, so here it would be good to have or improve the public transport or having more options for rent, motorcycles or also cars. And also to make it easier, the immigration. So for example, when I applied for the permit here, they asked me for a proof of residency. And then I was, I don't have. So yeah, how can I still apply? We live in a lot of countries. I don't have a bill to prove you, like utility bills. I don't have it. So they had to understand our situation. So they allowed, but it was bureaucratic, right? So yeah, so some countries they are improving their immigration, so they have this special visa for digital nomads because they realize that it's bringing money to their country. So they are calling these digital nomads in. When it's easier, the immigration, you don't need to go to another country to renew your visa. So yeah, that's very, it calls attention for the anywhere workers and nomads. And yeah, just a few examples really quick because I must have been passing my time.
Okay.
I'm okay? All right, good. So yeah, I brought here the example of Koh Phangan Island. So this is in Thailand. It's the same size of St. Helena. We lived there for 2 months. And it was really easy to, the government there is investing in the digital nomads, especially in this island. So the mobility, they don't have public transportation there, nothing. However, it's really cheap to rent a motorcycle. So a moped, you can rent it like really cheap, easy, you don't need a lot of documentations. So most of the people, they arrive there, rent a scooter, a moped, and then you can go all the islands, you can go around all the islands. Also, they have multiple Airbnb options, lots of options. So if like a small bungalow in front of the beach, or also bigger houses, or shared accommodation, or hostels. So there are lots of options. Restaurants and street food. So there are lots of options as well of food, and it could be more expensive food, or it could be cheap food as well. Co-working spaces and cafes, they invested a lot in on these there. So for example, once Maria was invited for a TV interview in Brazil, and it was going to be online, but we were in our place, and then we didn't know that on that day it was a festival in the island. So there was, around our house, there was having like huge, loud music, so we couldn't do that. She couldn't do that interview over there. But we had alternatives. So we ran to a co-working place far away from there. She went to this closed room, and yeah, we just paid the fee there. She went to the room. She had her interview with good connection, and it worked well. So. We need to have these alternatives. If something happened in our house, we need to have our plan B, right? And reliable internet and utilities. So yeah, no problems with the internet, no problems with energy, electricity as well. So this is something that the island had as an advantage. Another example that I want to bring is Madeira Island. So this is an Atlantic island as well. So it's closer to Morocco, and it's an island from Portugal, right? So the government there, they are heavily investing in these people. They want to attract anywhere workers and digital nomads. So they are creating nomad villas. So they tested last year, they created a nomad village over there. And in this village, they have free co-working spaces, so you can have spaces to work. You don't need to pay a fee for the internet, for example. They help the digital nomads or anywhere workers, they help them to find accommodation. And they also promote events like yoga, hiking, just for the community. And these tests worked very, very well. So they were very successful last year, and they are increasing these investments over there. They are creating more initiatives, more villages over there, and they have also changed their immigration. So they now have a visa for digital nomads as well. So people from Europe that they don't want to be very far from their countries. They go there, the time zone is not very different, so they go there and they spend a very good time there. So this is also here, the time zone here in St. Helena is perfect, right, for a person from Europe. And for me, for example, it's right in the middle, so I have people, meetings in the US, and I also have meetings in Asia, in Southeast Asia. It's right in the middle, so I can still arrange these meetings in my schedule, right? So this is an advantage here for you guys as well. And yeah, guys, St. Helena has a lot of potential for anywhere workers once the fiber has been installed here. You guys, you have a rich culture, friendly people, It's a peaceful place, amazing nature, incredible experience. So I think you have all for it if you want to attract these anywhere workers, digital nomads, and these bring money, this helps the economy. So yeah, that's a huge opportunity that you guys have. And yeah, thank you very much. These are my social media if you guys want to add me there. And that's it. Thank you.